Welcome back to the Archangel Morningstar podcast. I am Michael Sylvia, your host. Thank you for joining. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. If you haven't done any of that, please do to support this podcast. I love you forever and so much more and beyond and beyond. So thank you for joining. So I threw on a little music to kick it off in this hotel room that I'm in right now. I'm enjoying myself here at the Pilgrim Sands Hotel in Plymouth, Massachusetts that I love so much. And right next to me is the ocean. I wanted to do the podcast outside today, but it is cold. It is so cold outside. So cold out there. And it's warm in here. The devil inside. Every single one of us, the devil is inside. Alright, so there's the intro. Here we are. I'm feeling good. I'm not going anywhere. I just went outside, had my 420, and I'm feeling pretty good and all of that good stuff. Had my coffee, gonna have my my water. I hope that when you receive this video that it finds you in good standings and good health, and that your family's doing well, you're doing well. God bless you. You know, before I go any further, I'm going to talk about witchcraft, numbers, the Bible, spells, symmetry, Mother Nature, geometry, and how all of that really actually is connected. And before I go into it, you know, because I do believe in God, that's who I love and everything. Love my family and friends and so forth. So you know, but in other words, like when I dove into witchcraft and I realized there's a lot of things in there that you know, it's just there, you know, whether if you realize it there or not. But I wanted to share some of it with you because, for one, I think that it's healthy to understand that if you see it and discover it and see the reality of its trueness in where it is profoundly everywhere, that you begin to realize that through that there has to be a God and everything else above. So yes, there is tyranny throughout the world and there's disease and things like that right now, but at the end of the day there is a lot of good in the world as well. A lot of good things do happen. But as people get so upset about the bad, they you know, they forget about the good, and that's easy to do because I do it myself at times. So you know, it's good to think about the positive. But at the end of the day, you know, the education I'm thinking about, well, not even education, just something to think about that I love so much is witchcraft. I have a lot to learn about it. I don't know everything about it. I just know what I know here in this lifetime, and I do know that for myself, that you know, it naturally comes to me, and its way of showing me, you know, the way Mother Nature would show any child that's discovering, you know, this science that is out there. But here it is with witchcraft. I guess the first thing I'd like to talk about is, let me just get to the post that I have. We have the Salem witch trials. So the Salem witch trials I'm really interested in still, because at that time, the Salem witch trials, we had the 13 colonies, right? So I just like to go into numbers and the history of it and the symmetry of how all of that comes together, that you got the number 13, right? Isn't that pretty cool? So I enjoy the fact that Mother Nature puts it all together. She's mathematical. She's not guessing or anything like that. And so, you know, we're a part of her. And people say, oh no, we're not, because we're human beings, so therefore we're above the animal. And it's like, no, I don't think so. I think it's more than that. I think that she actually does take hold as much as she can possible, as any good Mother Nature, as any mother would, you know. So in Salem, Massachusetts, what I found out, and when I was reading on it again, because, you know, I don't know about you, but myself, I'll read about things, I'll know about it, and if I don't keep up with it, I can forget the information. So I had to read up on it again just to double check what I knew before, but now that I know better, because I did forget a few things, is that in the Salem witch trials that had happened, it was 150 people accused of being witches. 150, and then 18 of them died. Right? So they were all accused of it, and they were accused of worshiping the devil, and then they were sentenced to death, whether it was to be squished to death or drowned or hung or burned. And then when I thought about the numbers behind it and the methods of torture and the methods of death and the land grabbing that is possible, that who the real witches were on top of that was the judges and the lawyers themselves. People who probably owned land, understood witchcraft themselves, and the deep psychology of what it took to get to the other people that were possibly going to witchcraft in the deep in the Bible themselves, but not doing it in no bad way. They were just citizens that got in the way of a bigger organization that got deeper into the well and came out of it. It's like, we're going to do this land grab. We're going to get all these people and accuse them for witchcraft, whether if it's true or not. You can always look at it from that perspective. So, but anyways, no matter how you want to look at it, I wrote it down. It's going to be backwards to you, I guess, but you can take a quick pick on it if you want. But basically, when you look at this, the number 13 could be number 31, 13. This is the reverses of everything, right? So it sounds funny I say it that way, but accused. So 150 people got accused. So 1 plus 5 is 6, and the 6 is 666, and then the 8 and the 1 is 9. 9 is nines or sixes. So you got 666. I'm sure you've ever heard a song like that where nines or sixes, and it's deep in the satanic stuff. And then right here in the Bible, if you want to go with the math the way it goes down here, you just break down the numbers that the Bible was written in 1611. 1 plus 6 plus 1 plus 1 is 9, and 9s are sixes again. And it's just how everything that you have that's from above, that's God, down here is reverse and below, Or above you have God, and down below in Egypt they said you had the dog, and then you had the reverses of the cross, the reverses of the star. Up there is the star, down here would be the rats. You see, from above to below, so below is the same as above. But all at the same time, it's all reversed. And the people that went deep into Satanism was looking into the deep evilness, not of Satan himself, but the evil within themselves, nature, where people are capable of being greedy and wanting to harm other people because they have that nature in themselves to want to go hunt and destroy, but then they go psychopathic because they want property. Ants do that. There's a lot of monkeys do that. There's all types of animals throughout all of nature that do those same types of habit forming harmful things to other people. Taking from them the land and their money. I mean, not to go into it now, but that's what's happening in Ukraine a little bit, right? There's a lot of it gets deep like that. But back to the past times. I mean, so right now I'm just showing you the difference between the similarities between the numbers and then what you have with witchcraft. And then there's more. Things are laid out way before. If you believe in fate, where things are put in place before, they're meant to be, and then other things fall into place that had to happen, in that formation, and only God has all the answers to that, and it's all in Mother Nature's perspective, but it all comes down to love, compassion. The way to good witchcraft, the way to do it from a natural, good perspective of light is to spread good, love, compassion, being nice to each other, talking good about each other and things like that. But then the evil comes out where they talk bad about somebody else, or you don't treat them right, you cut them off on the highway, or whatever evil things that people want to do, or have done. Oh, yeah. So witchcraft is a worldwide phenomenon as well, not just England, not just New England. It's everywhere. Asia, all the Americas, India, Africa, call that voodoo, and then they all have their gods from the sky as well, you know. But since witchcraft is legit, in my opinion, which I say it is, I mean, it has its footprint all through history. I mean, shit, there's like a holiday that goes right to it called Halloween. So, you can go deep into it, and Mother Nature, in the universe, I truly believe that even if things are hectic at times, sanity always prevails, especially in this country. In this country of America, land of the plum serpent, where even a little is a lot, and everyone appreciating having to have what they have in this country, right? Yeah, I totally agree with that. And always having compassion and understanding, but don't be a fool either. Yeah, don't be taken advantage of. Don't let anyone take your kindness for weakness. And if they're in the wrong, you let them know. Be like, hey man, you're in the wrong. Or do what the other people do, or do what people do at times. You just walk away. Like, fuck it, you know what I mean? Now I know. All goes into that knowledge, the apple of knowledge, right? Get a little sticker on there. But these cosmic apples are fantastic. The cosmic apple, oh my God, it's delicious if you haven't had one. Delicious. And then, knowing what the real fruit of knowledge is, perhaps for a lot of people that knowledge should be forbidden, and that's why it's called the forbidden fruit, and just giving you the perception of an apple, because giving out the forbidden fruit to everybody just isn't right, because it is, knowledge isn't for everybody. People that can get it and it destroys them. People that get it, it makes them better, but they're hurtful to other people. There's people that do great with it all the way and just don't do anything around them that makes like a reaction of, to get the good going. And there's people that just are just plain old rotten. It's all kinds of ups and lows and downs and in betweens of types of people with flaws all through. And that's really how that is. It's really how that is. And then everybody has a system of beliefs, whether if it's Jesus or God or something else or Allah, And then, it's interesting to think about Jesus, he only lasted, in all respect, right? He preached, they say, for 3 years throughout Rome and all that. Then he had the missing years of where he got his education, where was he, how did he develop his tongue and understanding languages, and then having so many followers and things like that, and having such a ripple effect that it is pronounced into America today. And then I've heard other people tell me, Christianity shed blood on other nations. But then I also say that all those other nations have also shed blood on Christianity and other nations as well. And that's just a stone cold fact. And whether if you like it or not, that's on your reality. But the truth is, that's just the way it is throughout all religions. That somewhere along the line, people died. And if you look deep into that history, you'll get the answer why that happened at that time with those people and those circumstances. But if you want to take those people in that time and those circumstances and just blank and put a blanket fold of reality to now, it's, you got to be careful on how you portray it, I think, in some people, so, a lot to think about. But definitely Jesus is the way to go. You can't go wrong with treating people good and being fearless. Yeah, being fearless and all of that is fantastic. But yeah, the Bible. And then when you take the word the Bible, right? Check this out. The word the Bible. Bible. Doesn't it sound like Bible, Bible, go away. To where like it's the word Bible is to fend off Satan. The word in itself on the cover of the book. Just like that. And then you can underline it a whole nother way. And then it turns to the reverse of where if you take Bible, the word Bible, right? Bible. All right, I'm gonna do it for you. It's gonna be reversed, but I know you're gonna understand it. And that in itself is kind of funny that it's gonna be reversed, only because it's on camera, of course, but at the same time the principle stands on everything we're talking about. So you have this, right? So you have the word I'll say the letter Bible, right? And then what happens that I came to find out when I went into my meditations and understanding of the word from Bible, as we understood, is what I just talked about. We also have the other way of looking at it on the bad way, which was the number 13 on 2 B's. The B becomes the 13, and then the last 3 letters becomes L-I-E. Because underlined it is the satanic realm. And Satan is he's like underneath God. He's below. And God is above. And God is what you want. And God, and what happened, what I realized when I was going through the meditations and what I read in the Bible and everything is that when you're looking at the devil and when you're looking at God, is that the devil is a son of God, no questions, his son. And then they had a disagreement on humanity, the creation of humanity. And then he was punished. Satan was punished. Or say Lucifer was punished, Michael was punished. They were pushed down into hell to rule a place where all the bad people go. And that's what that is. So he's ruling the evil. And then from his perspective, why are you in my kingdom? What did you do as a human being? You didn't pass purgatory, and you certainly didn't go to heaven because you're in the reverse. You're in below. And what happens below is the same as above. And below, we want good people too. So what are your sins, and how did you get here? How much time are you going to get, and how long are you going to be here? Will it be for all eternity? Or will it just be for a matter of time until you're reincarnated to do good again? Because you never know what the ruler of hell actually does down there. Just as we know what the hell the ruler in heaven does, which is be God, right? Where God loves and cherishes and guards his children on earth and everything. And then Satan gets the blame for all the evil, when all in all, it's the demons who once were humans. And they're saying it was 1/3 of God's angels, and 1/3 makes the number 13. And I promise you, the symmetry in nature goes not only in earth, in the carbon form of what we are as humans and all the matter that's of this earth, but what's underneath it all, spiritually, love, hate, compassion, and all the magic spells that come with it that we don't know about, and the science that's made. How is science made, right? Because people come up with these ideas. We give it all to humanity, and it's true, right? You can't give it up to the people that win prizes and figure it all out. But let's give credit to our scientists, right? Because there were scientists. What about the history of witchcraft within the science community, which I didn't really go deep into because I already understand that it's already real. Like, I went deep enough to get the names, to see what countries it was. So what do we have? So we have the United States of America and Russia. What did their main scientists do? They would take their magic fruits, in their marijuana or whatnot, and their fasting and they were healthy enough to do it. This isn't for everybody. I'm not recommending this to anybody. Don't do it. I'm just saying that this is what they recorded themselves as doing, and they went out in the woods and the deserts or whatnot and contacted, and they were into it to all levels of humanity to understand through these what they call these non-human entities that there was downloading information to their brains, knew all their bullshit, knows everything about them, and gave them knowledge because they wanted to improve humanity, not destroy it. So the rockets were made so that they can go into outer space. And so we had the rocket scientists in Russia and the rocket scientists in the United States, and they went right into space, right? The first being the Russians. They sent Sputnik. Sputnik which is an interesting name for interesting name for a satellite dish, right? Thinking things ahead. And then the first living thing that they sent into space was a dog. It's pretty interesting. And then for us, we sent, 3 men to the moon, which is our feet into space, right? My favorite of the 3 astronauts that went to the moon is Michael Collins, who was born on Halloween. Yeah, I like that guy. And then I like the other 2 too. I love Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. And then the first man into space, he had a Yuri, Mr. Long name, about that long, a piece of paper. Like, Russian. No offense, it's awesome. So, anyways, all this ingenuity, and these scientists were going into the woods, and they were trying to download information, and then it worked. And there was one guy, his name was Parsons. He was the same thing, and then they were also deep in Aleister Crowley and things like that, and do out their will and things like that. And I guess you can do that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I really truly believe that at the end of the day, even if you do what you want, there's consequences to all of it, no matter where you are, no matter what you get away with or how long it goes for. At the end of the day, it comes right back to square one, what I was kind of trying to say before, where it is that, sanity always prevails. It always has, it always will. Think about it like this: a long time ago, lizards ruled the world. The lizards, and then you had a meteorite come down from the heavens and smash it all to pieces. Got rid of them all, and man was made. A lot of ways of looking at how everything was put together. And I'm sure all of it's true too, because even when you look at how things are put together in Genesis, right? Can I give you the word Genesis? Let me throw a few more things at you like this right now, and tell me what you think about this when I was downloading information myself. And I'm not saying the information is. It's just legitimate. You know what I mean? Like downloaded, and then like put down on the paper. So like, our first satellite was called Voyager, right? So I'll write it down. Voyager. And then underneath it, see that? A gray over. A gray over, like aliens, right? And then check this out. That was from the first satellite we sent. Now look at the Russian one. Right? First Russian put Sputnik out there. Sputnik. See? Sputnik. And then what it comes out as the last one did is, well, it's not good, but I mean, kiss, P, Sputnik, kiss Putin. So like, basically, like through all that kind of understanding, through like scientists and Satanists, and like how they say like Satan rules the world and God rules the world and all those things, is that when they were going through all these hypnosises and understandings of reality and power, and the lust of power and more material goods and more land and everything, and there's so much involved in it that it's easy to go evil. And it's all over the place. But the thing is, good is everywhere. That's the main point, which it is. NASA. NASA. If you put a T in that word and spell it out right, you understand what I'm talking about. And I could go on. And I don't want to go into that realm of it. I just want to talk about the fact that witchcraft can also be used for good. Because Jesus himself was also a witch. You gotta believe that. I mean, think about it, man. That's not a normal man, what he did. No way. And I don't mean normal like, oh, normal people suck. That's not true. Normal people and all people, whatever you want to call people, are fantastic. They're all beautiful. They're all flowers of their own delight. And they all matter. Every single last fucking one of them. But Jesus, I mean, come on. Give it up. Man's got Christmas, he's in church, does a lot of good for people, puts compassion into people's lives, brings families together. You got Easter. It's a lot of good stuff. A real good light witch of his own light, a sun like the sun in the sky. But with all of that, I just definitely got to say that, he has an older brother called the devil, right? Or Lucifer, or Michael, and all the others that tested him in the flesh and never hurt him. People hurt him. And then Mother Nature had to let that play itself out so that, knowing how people will be in the future, that it would all reflect back into the nature to where it all become where it is today. The word spreads. Good word spread. Word spreads all by itself. That's old school. Like, anybody with a brain knows that. Word of mouth plays a long way. Now, don't get me wrong. There's word of mouth to go around. That's bullshit, or lies and all that stuff. But what he did was such a miracle that it was way over there, and here it is here today. Gotta give it up to the Jesus. I love Jesus. And then who else? What about Buddha? I'll give it up to Buddha too. He's one of his own, right? And then the Hindu religion, right? Native Americans. So even saying, not to skip over Buddha at all, but I mean, talking about enlightenment and relaxing and just take it easy, kind of like that. Even though we need to build an economy, you can't do that 24/7. But at the end of the day, that's a good idea when you got the time. Relaxing, chilling, having nothing around you, even maybe just kind of just kind of relax and enjoying the symbology being possibly, as say that, finding inner love and light, like knowing thy love within thyself, and the light that you bring out to others is what you really give out, and you should enjoy that just a little bit and understand that you are a good person for the things that you do. It's just that the world was first born evil, right? I mean, everything, it had love in it always, but with lizards and dinosaurs and everything being like carnivoric and the way it was when it first started out, it was an unhospitable planet with possibly no higher intelligence ever, with the exception of just eat, sleep, reproduce, and hunt, gather, or whatever the animals do. 4.5 billion year old planet we're on. That's an old rock, and this rock revolves around that fire in the middle, Isn't it funny how like the earth it goes around that fire in the middle of the solar system we call the sun, and at the same time, throughout all tribes, no matter which ones you went to, they all would build a fire if they could. And if they could dance around it, they could. And it made them feel better. Because they were doing exactly what their Mother Nature was doing. Reflection. And then she produces understanding the best way she knows how into us. And I would have to say there are the five senses, and then there's the sixth sense. And then in the sixth sense, that's all based on the person, like how deep that is for you. It's all genetics, it's past lives, it's this lives, it's deeds, it's everything. Was it passed down? And also, in my opinion, from exploring it all, is that females definitely have a deeper, and I'm talking about the good female, where the good female has a deeper, more profound understanding in it than a man does. And I think it's hard for men to most men will say that's bullshit. But the one that say bullshit, they pass the test of even having a third eye. They don't get it. I'm talking about for real. Like a mother and a woman just sees things that a man just can't. They just have intuition that's there. It's like a psychic of its own, which it is. It's a part of Mother Nature's intuition and witchcraft that he's built into the brain and the soul forever. And it's fun to think that we all do, in essence, come from lizards with the reptilian brain and no link ever found. And aliens to think about, witchcraft. It's beautiful things. I like to think of things. I think the deeper you think into things, the more you understand that there's more reason why why people are where they are. And hopefully when people are in bad situations, they figure themselves out. Like, I understand that, and everything is, look, I've been in tough situations, and it's just all about like getting it together, being a good person, all of that. And that's what and the reason I keep expressing it is because that's all part of of a good true witch. A good true witch, that's how they are. It's the deep understanding of love and compassion and mercy and everything like that. Just like Jesus even. It's really pretty much the same thing. Except for that, like, demons is what we are, where it's like, but at the same time, like when people are evil and do things that are opposite of what you like, then those are the people that are damned and go to hell, and then God punishes them into where they go, and then from there they have demons that persecute them for all eternity. All eternity. I mean, think about it, how ghosts are like apparitions, right? They're like, you can barely see them, they're kind of like gases. And then, like, if there's reincarnation, it goes on forever. What about all the gases in the universe that ignite a star, and the star ignites the planets, and the planets ignite us, or life that they see as fit? And it all just reproduces itself through a universal symmetry that breaks down into Mother Nature symmetry, that breaks down to the human symmetry, or the symmetry of whatever the being becomes, and it has to live that format. It has to live that, that magical spell of living, breathing, having air, water. That every breath we take is a miracle. It most certainly does. Life is important. That's another thing I would have to say that I believe is that, like, even like, and it's gonna sound probably crazy to some people, but I believe that, like, even like when you look at insects or whatnot, small as they are, as lifeless as they are in comparison to us, it's still life. So we're not even all just let them outside or whatnot. You know, it's life. You don't know what's been through. You don't know. Some people say, screw it, just step on it. And that's fine. You know, that's fine. Step on you. You know, that's right. Stars to the rats. Because, like, another thing about witchcraft and numbers I'd like to get into is demonology. Demonology was a book that was written by the same man who had many priests come together to write the Bible, which was King James. And he wrote a book called Demonology, and what he did is because King James, just like Jesus and other people, Buddha and all that, you gotta understand, and I truly know this is gotta be the truth, is what it is that King James was a witch, you know, a psycho witch, and he got down with, and he was writing about all these different demons that he was writing down about, right? Wrote them all down, and he put it out into the public. And then, like, there was witches, that those people that claimed to be witches due to the book's publishing, witches became. And then he would go hunting for the witches, which was mostly women, and kill them. And I was like, you know, it's just, you know, it's just that type of thing where, like, someone gets so much power to do good and they do that, you know, because that's why, you know, it's just amazing to me. And then, like, the women were all, you know, burned or hung or drowned, you know, which is a shame, because there's a lot of other good witches that did escape, of course, because we have witchcraft that is still among us today. And then, like, people just got rid of witches got rid of witchcraft as laws in this country anyway, saying, like, listen, you know, like, we got to get rid of it because it's not real, and, you know, as people are getting accused of stuff, they're not doing it, and things like that. And I'd say there's an underlying truth in all of that. You know, cases where they're saying it's real and it isn't. Cases where it is real and they're saying it isn't real and they're saying it is. You know, it's just how it goes sometimes. But I don't know. There's a few other things I could put out there. Going to witchcraft and numbers was, you know, knowing your birth date. That's all important. Your horoscopes. You know, I don't know. Each astrologer is different. You know, they're like the weatherman. There's ones that get it right all the time, or get it no, you know, get it a lot of, you know. Sometimes they're the ones that don't get it right. You know, it's like the weatherman. You know, like, can't get it right all the time. And that's what that is. And I tell you, yeah, witches is a good thing, you know, and witches, good witches cast spells on evil people, which can be a good thing, which is good. For example, like when Wicca is, like, I also consider myself a Wiccan as well. I love Wicca, and I love Wiccans, because basically, like, what it comes down to with Wiccans and witches is pretty much, it is the same thing, really. But they have, you know, a little different, I guess, but, you know, but they both have Mother Nature, whatnot, and the devil loves them both, you know. And basically, like, what the Wicca was going on is that they, the man that founded it was Gerald Gardner. And Gerald Gardner, he had a bunch of witches come with him, a coven of witches. They got together, and this was around the World War II time, and they cast a spell on the Nazis. Yeah, and that happened. So they got together, the Wiccans got together, they got into the woods, they built a fire, they all got their thoughts together, their karma together, their nobility, their friendship, their courage, and all that mattered to them, and they let it all out in the fire like they were planets marching around the sun. And they cast a spell on Adolf Hitler and all the Nazis who were also doing satanic worship of their own. It was all happening, and that's how it works. And at the end of the day, as I said before, sanity always prevails over evil, no matter how big it gets. Because at the end of the day, when evil is fire, it burns for a while, but eventually it has to go out. But another one starts. So so everything goes on, and the universe continues. It's all good stuff, and I really believe in the fact that, look, DC, Washington, DC are Roman numeral numbers, and they stand for the number 60, which is the number 60. Zero's canceled. You got the number 6, which is the 666 for Washington, DC. And then all the symbology that's down there and all throughout our country, and the military and the police departments and everything, whether if they realize it or not, with the stars and the circles and everything that goes down deep from below and above. And it all matters. All of it matters. All the details. The devil loves the details because he's in all of them. And then he acts like he's not. And then there's a spell. Magic spells. Morning stars, magic spells. Well, it's been a fun podcast for me today. I think I'm going to end it right there. A lot of witchcraft that's gone on in that department of England, New England, all parts of the world. All going into the devil, listening to them and being like, no. Because you can't agree with all of it. Only good people do good things, and that's what I'm all about. And bad people and evil people go to an evil place. A fun fact that I think is hilarious, and I love it, is that there's a federal prison in Colorado that goes deep underground. And that's where all the murderers go. The deep serial killers. Like one of the brothers that did the bombing here in Massachusetts, that caused the Boston Strong, lose my words here, but the marathon, the Boston Marathon, the bombing there. So one of the guys got murdered, but the other one, he's deep underground. So he's deep underground in Colorado, where a bunch of murderers are, and that's where hell is. It's just like that. It all comes together, I promise you. So when people are wondering where God is, he's there. You give him time, love yourself, respect yourself, and you know what you do is good. Things that have happened bad, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And those are just facts. And that's where I'm going to lie it with that. So I love witches. I love Wiccas. If you are one, I love you. And if you're not, still love you. Everybody's got their own beliefs. God bless you. I love you. Have a fantastic day. I'm having a great day myself. I'm going to go check out the ocean now. I'm going to get all bundled up. And praying to God is a good magic spell to have. Amen to that, huh? There's a lot to talk about in another time. So God bless you. Have a great day. I love you. Thank you for being here. And also, if you like the podcast, please like the podcast. Please support the podcast. Archangel Morning Star. You can like it, subscribe. You can share it with friends. See if they're interested in witchcraft. And always remember that, New England is the founding father. 13 colonies. All this New England stuff. We own witchcraft. I love this place. Okay, I love you so much and have a great day. I love you so much. Love you.